One thing I'm not worried about is actually reaching the success or following that I need to because of content thieves. But I will always call out those messy black women content creators who love to stay in my space and in my face, but never like to give credit to where they're getting their fake inspiration from. So let me show you guys what I mean, because I love giving shouts out to the people who love to stay their asses on my channel. So let's give a special warm welcome, okay, to Sovereign Woman, okay? Shout out to you, lovely, okay? Because you love to keep coming on my videos, stealing content. Now, I'm going to show y'all even better. So, as a matter of fact, let me go back and I'll be right back so I can show you guys. You know, lovely thing about the internet is that it's always receipts on the internet, okay? So I'm back, y'all. So I'm back, y'all. I want to make sure I had this on here. So let me show y'all what I mean. So earlier today, y'all know I posted a video. Now let me show y'all the video I posted. I posted a video where I was showing you guys how I do my chemical-free shampoo and conditioner. Of course, because you know, I do stuff like this. I'm a herbalist, okay? You get licensed, you do things, and you actually give out the information that pertains to you. So that's what I do, okay? So earlier I did a live stream where I was finishing my hair day, step by step, pretty much just showing you guys how I do my chemical-free wash days using organic products that are good for your scalp as natural hair, okay? So instead of just give someone a actual shout out or a reference, okay? Because like I said, a lot of people will talk in circles just to not admit that they steal and watch your content, which is lame because like I said, you'd be surprised how many lame content creators have so much fake hype and they still sit up lame as they are, okay, in your smaller, way smaller channels repeating content. So as you can see, I did this live stream about my hair earlier. And I want you guys to check it out if you haven't already, because you'll see what I mean when I say people just literally talk in circles repeating the same thing you say. Another girls' union, okay? And so earlier I did this live stream where I was finishing my hair day talking about, okay, how I was beating cancer, different things like that, as well as how I grow my hair to butt length, okay, and how I recently cut my hair and things like that to start over for hair health, blah, 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 blah. So this is how crazy these narcissistic people are on YouTube. Okay, that's why I tell y'all gotta be careful with these black women. They don't even hide that they're thieves and narcissists. They don't hide it. So this is the same woman who's always coming on my channel stealing content. And why she steals content when she got this type of following, it's obvious. They can't form a thought of their own. Their content is usually repeating everybody else's content, period. Okay, so let's talk about it. I made mine, as y'all can see, 7 hours ago. So she decided to make a full-on video about my live stream and literally include all the things I said in my live stream. And these are the people that y'all be looking to. She talking about highly requested. Bitch, ain't nobody requested shit from you. And all the shit you put in the video was literally stuff everybody's been hearing about on TikTok and YouTube forever. There's cancerogens in the braiding hair. There's, girl, just say you repeated my video from my live stream earlier and stop acting like you don't be on my channel stealing content, boo. You literally are in my members only, boo. Okay, you the only person that's a part of my members only, just like Girls Union, who come and steal my content and repeat it word for word, literally not even hours. Imagine watching my live stream 7 hours ago, getting off of here and making a video about my entire live stream, but then asking your audience to give you advice about hair care. Y'all, you cannot make this shit up. These people are crazy, okay? Let me get the little spammers out of here. But this is what I be talking about. I don't care what you think you don't know, what you're not fluent at or good at articulating. There will always be a lame black women content creator who will be in your space. So do what you do, okay? They will always leave the receipts of them copying you. Like I said, she just posted this, and I also left the time on here so y'all could see when I screenshotted this. And you're welcome to go check it out. Go look at my live stream earlier, and then go look at her live stream, well, her video that she made off of my live stream, repeating pretty much everything I was saying, but just acting like someone else gave her the ideas, okay? So, like I said, it's sad when you can't even be yourself and do your own content without people, oh my God, I see something. I know I got something for today. Because, like I said, I'm just going to show you guys the point I'm proving and the fact that these people, none of their content is about what I make. And then it is, okay? They literally come on my content channel, stealing content, talking about spirituality, talking about things that don't concern them as atheists, and many of the other things they keep referring to and let you know they are. Okay, it has nothing to do with you. Okay, you can study and talk about whatever you want, but why steal from Black women content creators and then claim, okay, you're here to school women? Who are you schooling if all you're doing is stealing content and repeating it? Okay, these are the washed up old heads who keep trying to convince everybody to follow them, join them, when all they are looking for is a money grab. Okay, because they're usually the same type of women who come on here and pretend to have my image, which Sovereign Woman has been doing lately. All of a sudden, she's trying to pretend she's a licensed therapist and she has all these answers when all she's doing is repeating my old content because, well, you're sub to my members only, sweetheart. These people are so crazy. Like I said, you should be embarrassed. Okay, I don't even have that many subscribers. I know my content is nice. It's legit. Okay, I don't have to lie about what I know. But the fact that you won't just give someone credit instead of pretending, oh, someone highly requested this information from me. What information has anyone asked you about your natural hair that has been the same length for 5 years? Who? What? Who has? Who? And it has nothing to do with texture. Okay, because I have very much so Afro textured hair as well. But this is why I tell y'all, be careful what you post, be careful who you trust. Okay, I don't trust any of these hoes. Okay, I'm not worried about it. It's just the fact that I love being able to call out people who lie all the time, like these people. Like I said, you're welcome to go check out my live stream that I did earlier, where I literally gave her all the information she talked about in her live stream. 4 hours after I posted my stream, she decided to post hers. I guess it hits harder when other people repeat your content, I guess. So, like I said, y'all welcome to go check it out. But I love how the internet leaves receipts for all these so-called high-class, intelligible YouTubers and content creators who just can't seem to form a thought of their own. But yeah, I'll leave that there because, like I said, I don't care what you post it. There's always somebody waiting to steal stuff they can't think of on their own, okay? That being said, thanks, Sovereign Woman, okay, for being on my channel, scoping, okay? Thanks for spreading the message. Next time, make sure you quote who you got it from, okay, boo? Because going to make a whole video as if you can think for yourself, it just doesn't make sense. Like I said, at least wait a couple days. Act like you thought of something, okay? Now, let's talk about the best part of this video. We're going to be talking about voodoo for beginners. Oh, and content thieves who like to steal. Come on in, okay? So come on in, content thieves and weirdos and narcissists. Okay, come on in because like I said, one thing about what I do is if you don't have the right intention and I don't give you permission, well, let's just say you're not going to have that many good experiences with any of the things you think you're experimenting with. Okay, it is what it is. Permission is needed. It's not granted, it's needed, it's required. Okay, so let's go. If you have a problem with what I'm talking about, go find a channel that suits your scary, superficial, political needs. Okay, now we're going to be talking about voodoo for beginners. Okay, and yes, please do go because no one invited you. Okay, y'all come in talking, stop talking. Okay, read a title. The title lets you know what's going on usually. Okay, and if you're not Black, you don't need to be in here anyway because there's nothing I'm talking about that concerns you. Okay, this is not for you. You have pagan, you have Celtic, you have all the fake witchcraft that you have tried to mimic from Egypt and everywhere else. Use it. Okay, now that being said, back to the topic. When it comes to voodoo, there are some very, very, very need to be understood things. Okay, let me get these white fatiguers out of here so y'all don't have to worry. Okay, some people just are so bored in life they have to be in your space at all times. Okay, no correlation, no connection, no nothing. Okay, I just want to be in your space. Okay, now voodoo. Okay, we're going to start off with some basics that you guys need to know. Okay, voodoo is not something you start practicing on your own. You have to be introduced. Okay, you have to be introduced. And before you even think about getting into voodoo seriously, you need to purge. Okay, you need to purge your mind, okay, your body, okay, and you need to cleanse your soul. Now, whether you consider that chakras or not, I don't really care. It's up to you. Only you know the things you struggle with the most and your inner levels, okay? Only you know the demons you fight for real, unless somebody else, okay, is actively provoking them all the time. Now, that being said, you, okay, before you get into anything, need to be honest with yourself and admit the things you struggle with the most, okay? When I say the things you struggle with the most, I mean whether it's drunkenness, okay, whether it's lust, okay, and let's get something clear. Women, you can struggle with lust too, okay? You can struggle with lust too as a woman. In fact, nowadays, if you look at the world, a lot of women are becoming the very thing they swear. Okay, they don't want men to look at them as yada 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 yada. But like I said, this is where pretending to be professional and high class comes in. Only you know what you struggle with. And I want to make this clear. Fake validation is absolutely something you need to purge yourself of. There are a lot of women who have to resort to content creating, just like the sovereign woman I just talked about, okay? Because, well, they don't create anything, they don't have any energy. In fact, they're only walking around with the same energy they've always had to reach the conclusions they're constantly at. Okay? I hate men. I hate. These are the same people who have not purged, who have not cleansed, who have not built, who have not evolved. I said what I said because regardless of what you dislike, how the world, okay, is making you participate in the gender war, there are absolutely people out here, okay, who are actively pushing back against the unnatural nature of people like the sovereign woman, okay, Princella the dude maker, okay, and a lot of these women who have become the red pill, okay, low vibrational women of the black community. This also goes for people like You're Triggered and all these other people who constantly spend all their fucking time talking about the energy of people they don't align with. Okay, I said what I said. As a sovereign woman, okay, sovereign women are not worried about what men do. In fact, you're not competing with what men do, and you oftentimes don't have to participate in the fields that men are in. Now, I want to say this. When it comes to voodoo, only you know what you really struggle with. But if you are not honest about it, it will be your downfall. Okay, what do I mean? If you have a spirit of drunkenness, okay, and you do certain things that require you to drink or certain things, you are not going to be in the same element. There are absolutely rituals that require you to drink. Okay? Like I said, you must be careful of what you lie to yourself about. It's not always other people. In fact, a lot of people will tell you what's wrong with you from the get go. It's the lying to yourself that really keeps people in a bind. Okay? It's the fact that a lot of people convince themselves they can bring themselves out of things. But I want to teach you something. In voodoo, okay, when it comes to your ancestors, and sometimes you're not going to be able to connect with your ancestors. You're going to have to connect, okay? You're going to have to connect with the Linesser, okay? And the Linesser is the person closest to your ancestry. Because what a lot of people don't understand, a lot of y'all ancestors, okay, it was they ride or dies, okay, whose energy was left behind. Why? Because a lot of people live vicariously through their spirit animal people. Just like today, you hear people say, oh, she's my spirit animal, he's my spirit animal. A lot of us are people's spirit animal. Just like I happen to be sovereign woman's spirit animal, which is why she keeps repeating my content and confident in it. You know, it's a lot of people like that. That's cool, but I'm being literal, okay? A lot of people live vicariously through the people they want the energy of, okay? This is why you have to be careful in voodoo the most, because the things you lie to yourself about will always come out in your sorcery. It never fails. This is why I talk about what's done in the dark. Hey there, how y'all doing? Goddess HP, how you doing, sweetie? John Williams, no, I'm not a feminist, but yeah, I'm not a feminist. What's up, Tampa? How you doing? Let's see. Hell yeah. What's up, Ken? How y'all doing? Sorry, I didn't have my comments on the other way. So, yeah, indeed, you cannot lie to yourself when you're doing voodoo. You can lie to everybody else if you want to. But when it comes to voodoo and you're doing things on your own, you cannot be dishonest with yourself. Why? The ancestors, okay, or your intercessor, okay, and that will be the person who is literally, okay, either somebody who speaks on the behalf of your ancestors, or, okay, it is somebody that your ancestors gave their power to live vicariously through. And we ain't talking about Jesus, okay? There are many different entities, okay, that protect, and some of them are not always for protection, they are for other deities and activities. Now, that being said, you can think whatever you want to. Meditating is still a part of voodoo. Okay, just because you don't understand something doesn't mean, okay, it's bad. Okay, there's more to spiritual healing than meditating. In fact, there's a lot of unleashing and raging that goes on, okay, in healing. Have you ever been to therapy and they make you yell and scream? And yeah, stop acting like things in healing is all sweet and goopy and warm and loving. In fact, you wouldn't know certain emotions exist if certain things didn't break certain emotions you didn't know were inside of you and conjured those feelings first. Okay? Same thing with lust and everything else. So let's not act like crossing your legs and meditating is the solution to everything. This is very much so an after solution to the deeper healing that needs to be done, John. Okay? Meditating is very surface level, lightweight work. Okay? Anyone can do it. Anyone can pretend to do it. And if you don't have good intentions, well, just like anything else, you'd be doing that in vain. Okay? That's like going to AA meetings and still going to the bar every Friday. That's pointless, isn't it? Now, back to what I was saying. Don't come here and be distracting. Okay? You can lie to other people in voodoo, but you cannot lie to yourself because your ancestors will not be able to intercede on your behalf. Okay? A lot of people are still waiting on imaginary characters to intercede, which is why they end up having to do worldly things, okay, in the dark to make it seem like Jesus is interceding for them or whatever religion they believe in. Who Jesus blessed me with this car. Girl, if you don't tell them that you just slept with 542 men to get this damn car, okay, if you don't stop lying, sir, and pretending that you just lucked up and hit the lotto and just tell them that you are down low for your extra money. Like, it's so many people that lie and then turn around and want to play with sorcery. You can lie to people around you. You cannot lie to things that are in between realms. And that's what a lot of people think they're doing. They think they can bypass, okay, the energies that are in between realms, okay, that are constantly watching you. They can watch you in the shadows. They can watch you in your everyday interactions. And I want you to understand something. There's always somebody watching you in the spirit realm. And a lot of y'all don't know who it is. Okay? And when it comes to these portals, I need y'all to understand that a lot of people watch you through these portals and keep up with you through these portals intentionally so that they can use what you're doing against you. Now, understand, all the time it may not work, but there are people who have higher levels of understanding, who can absolutely, okay, even like myself, there are plenty of people I could stand, okay, to make their lives turned upside down. Most of them aren't worth the energy of doing that, okay? It's the fact of allowing people to receive karma and not interfering. This is the biggest part of voodoo you need to understand. In voodoo, there's lots of things you could do. But when you interfere with karma, okay, I need you to understand what really happens. A lot of times karma is going to be much better than you could ever conjure. So when you interfere with that, the things that don't carry out, they come to you. This is why people have bad experiences with voodoo. They don't understand that. Okay, so if you don't have an intercessor, meaning you don't have something to release your energy into and contain it and actually do it properly with the right rituals, as well as sealing it with the right entity to protect it, you are not going to be able to do anything yourself. And please understand, you can ask permission from your ancestors, you're still going to need a higher power than your ancestors to seal whatever it is that you are trying to contain. Period. Okay? This is a fact. Now, I need you to understand where a lot of people get confused. A lot of y'all only know about false orishas and people who are pretty much in the same lineage as Jesus, meaning a lot of them are created players. A lot of them have been talked about so long, people deem them true, but there are many more entities, okay? And I call them entities. An entity does not mean good or bad, okay? Entities themselves have personalities. So me referring to people as entities is me talking about them in their higher sense of self and respect. Okay, they're no longer in human form, so you don't call them people, you don't refer to them in people form, you refer to them in the power they're in. Period. Okay, and a lot of times if you ever connect, they're going to refer to you as the power you're in. Okay, and that's usually going to be, okay, lesser form. And it's not an insult, it is simply acknowledging you as emergence of energy. You are an magnetic being that can be controlled and tampered with through things that also have the same frequency waves, like technology. That is why you intertwine so much with technology. And this is also why a lot of people cannot contain their thoughts or, okay, continue, okay, to be creative or express themselves when technology presents itself. In other words, when it's in their face, all they can talk about is what they see. Okay, they can't separate their intelligence from the electromagnetic frequencies that are in the devices, which are black portals. Now, that being said, if you struggle with having control over the internet and your free time, voodoo is not for you. You're not ready. If you struggle, okay, with being honest about the things that hold you back, okay, when I say the things that hold you back, I want you to think deeper. Okay, when I say think deeper, I'm not talking about the bills due, the rent due. We're not talking about these minuscule things. I'm talking about narcissism in yourself. Okay, I'm talking about things in yourself that would cause you to backtrack. Now, a lot of people hate honesty because, well, a lot of people live these lives of pretending they don't have certain urges or tendencies to do things. Impulse is a very much part of a lot of people's lives. In fact, if you look at the world today, impulse is why most people ain't scared to post anything and be embarrassed. Okay, it's impulse. Impulse and lack of shame. That being said, I need you to understand something. Okay, when your impulse is higher than your purpose, you will always attract mischievous spirits in voodoo. Let me say this again. When your impulse, okay, when your impulse urges are stronger than being on your purpose in silence, in other words, imagine being able to receive whatever you want. The only thing you can't do is be quiet about it. See, this is the difference in voodoo and a lot of the fake witchcraft and fake witches like Shira Seven and other people who act like everything is for everybody. It's not. Okay? Let me tell you how. Okay? In voodoo, in voodoo, when you deal, okay, with certain things, you have to give offerings. Okay? This is mandatory. Also, when it comes to voodoo, you have to know what bloodline you come from. This is mandatory. Okay, this is mandatory. If you do not know what bloodline you come from, you may as well say you are free picking for anything to use you, play with you, manipulate you, and so on and so forth. And I want to say this in voodoo, okay, some of your ancestors were very much so mischievous, which is why some of the curses in your bloodline may be stronger than others. Now, there's a difference between fun mischievous, okay, and evil mischievous in voodoo. And a lot of people tend to lean more towards, okay, the evil mischievous, which would be hoodoo. I said what I said. It is for more evil spirited people. Okay? It is. Why? I'll tell you why. Because in hoodoo, you can include so many more ranges of activities of directing your energy. And you don't have to use your ancestors as the entities to do it. That is the difference, the biggest difference. Okay? I also want to mention that in voodoo, when you are dealing with mischievous spirits, they will always require strange sacrifices. Okay? Now, a lot of people say, well, how would you know what they want? Because you have to ask them permission through someone who actually is in alignment. Okay? If you're not asking permission, okay, in voodoo to align with certain entities and energies, you are not practicing voodoo. You are simply a closet witch who is doing the same thing Jesus worshipers do. Just claim they're talking to people and ain't doing nothing. Okay, this is why so many Christians end up getting found out. They're doing under the table stuff. They scamming, they steal from their job because their intercessor, which would be Jesus, is not really showing up and showing out. But it's because, okay, the fake warlock called your preacher has never introduced you properly. Okay, he's not a real practitioner. He's a practitioner of the government. Okay, and since when has the government given you anything, okay, that they can't take from you, that they can't use to control you with? Okay, the government would have never allow these fake preachers and practitioners to give you anything that would free your mind from this political system. Okay, that you need to remember that. Now, I want you to think about this. In voodoo, spirits attack you based on your weaknesses. Okay? Now understand this. Here you go. In voodoo, your ancestors test you before they choose you. You have many ancestors usually. The ones who don't have many ancestors, well, it's usually because your bloodline was split up before you got a chance to choose which bloodline you wanted a part of. The ancestors will allow you to choose which part you align with the most. Okay? And usually they will guide you in the direction of finding them. Only they can. Like I said, in the spiritual realm, you have to understand people here cannot guide you in the spiritual realm to your ancestors the way others who have already transferred over have adapted to that realm. And understand, a lot of them have been there much longer than people here tell you. Okay, they tell you, oh, we've only been in here for 400 years. No, some of the entities you're going to need to speak with have been there in the in-between for 800 years, thousands of years. Okay, multi-thousand years. Okay, and this being said, you have to be very careful who names you conjure. There are names that are so similar, but you have to make sure to say them with the right dialect. You have to make sure that you do your research not to call on the wrong ancestors, period. Okay, there's always people who think they know, they see a couple names. I need y'all to understand how deeply this goes into people lying about who you kin to. Okay, if you know the exact bloodlines you come from and how real they are, a lot of times this is the direct connection you need to know whose blood you need to be talking in the name of. Okay, and it ain't Jesus. Also, when you are asking for permission, okay, like like I told you, you have to, okay, get permission from someone who is aligned. Okay, if you do not, the only thing you're going to get, okay, is met with pushback from your ancestors because they feel like you are not ready. In other words, they don't trust you. Okay, imagine trying to join something that's way more powerful than yourself, right? And then the need of joining it is because you feel powerless everywhere else. So to the ancestors, they feel like, well, if you can't commit to Jesus and the other stuff you already agreed to, why would you commit to us? The ancestors know everything that you think they don't know because, well, Jesus is not in their realm. And a lot of times they take you less seriously when you bind yourself to things that are not of your spirit. Okay? For a lot of black people, Jesus and different things have never rang true in their spirit. Okay? And a lot of times those are usually the people the ancestors use the most, protect the most, elevate the most, because you are the ones who are least lacking in your cultural standard of self. Okay? In other words, you'll be yourself before anything. That's beautiful. The ancestors' job is to help you be yourself using protection. Okay. Now, a lot of people think that means I can just be wild, free, and crazy, say what I want. That is not what that means. Okay. The biggest part of voodoo is not being boastful. Okay. And when I say being boastful, I mean not being boastful of the entities that you use as intercessors. You can be boastful of yourself all you want. See, one thing about voodoo that is required, okay, is secrecy. Okay, your ancestors are not like you. They don't want to be known to people who usually ruined their physical life. And you have to understand the ancestors you're going to be talking to in voodoo or introduced to through voodoo, they are older than Jesus and many other people. Okay, they're much older. So you have to present yourself with a higher level of respect because, well, the times they were fighting in and fighting for, that's what they were after. More respect, more peace, more resources, more everything. Okay. So you have to understand a lot of the people you're reaching out to who are no longer here. Okay. They will give you anything you need in assistance to getting the things they want for you anyway. They're the only ancestors that actually care about you beating the system. That is why they don't want their names, okay, whispered and screamed about online. They don't want the attention that people like Jesus need, okay, to keep their names alive. In fact, it's a difference when your energy is so powerful, it keeps itself alive, okay, and you're actually seeking, okay, your children, your bloodline who are looking for you. It's a difference. Okay, so after you've been introduced properly, okay, most of the time the ancestors choose you, you don't choose them. The only people who usually choose, okay, their ancestors in voodoo are people who are like orphans, okay, or you don't have any knowledge of where you come from. And that is absolutely the time you need to be using, okay, an ancestor every step of the way that you trust, that you have reviewed, okay, reviewed deeply. Some ancestors, if you're going to use them, make sure you use them, okay, and review them 2 months if you have to, 6 months, hell, 2 years. I don't care. Do your homework. Time is of the essence and of importance when you start your journey, especially with things like voodoo. You can't go backwards. So if you start off wrong, okay, the whole experience may be something that will send you back to something else that's still not right. And that's usually what happens when things go wrong in voodoo. People pretend it's the voodoo. No, it's the fact that the ancestors rejected you. Okay, so when a lot of times when ancestors reject you, people think it's just, stuff like, oh, well, my boyfriend broke up with me. No, the ancestors send you hardship because they feel like you are testing them. In other words, you can't forcefully test your ancestors. They're there to guide you. You're not there, okay, to keep them alive. In fact, a lot of your ancestors who are really there for you, you won't know their name until you're properly introduced by someone like myself because they do not want to be known to the same people who ruin the world and go against nature. Okay, your ancestors actually are for nature. That's why they don't want to be a part of the worldly cycle of everybody repeating and knowing them. See, the church and a lot of other denominations cause you to forget your ancestors. The thing is, your ancestors remember you. So a lot of people have their coming to moments randomly throughout life. You might be at a party having fun, all of a sudden the ancestors may put something in your mind. You might be like, man, this party ain't for me. Okay, and everybody you was at that party with might be dead in 5 years. The ancestors are choosing you. They're choosing you and they're separating everybody that will get in the way, okay, of you being chosen. A lot of people don't understand that. They never will because they never think that deeply. The ancestors will remove 20 people, 3 people, 147 people. The ancestors remove whoever they need to get to you. That's why when a lot of people have their coming to moment, it be so hard for them to go back to thinking the way they used to. Almost impossible. Because a lot of times the ancestor that you chose you back. They won't leave you. So it's harder for you to leave your thoughts of progress, abundance, peace, evolvement behind because, well, when an ancestor attaches to you back, It is one of the highest forms of mutual respect, of higher aligning. And please know, okay, you are going to go through a process of healing, of cleansing, of feeling, because a lot of times that ancestor is going to make you feel, okay, the very things that attracted them to you in the first place. Usually, okay, it's the things that you have in you that they either weren't allowed to display, that they have an overwhelming abundance of, that they will allow you to constantly, okay, gradually release from yourself or walk in. In other words, you will always have, okay, your ancestor. This is your blood. Now, this ain't somebody that's just randomly chosen to you, okay? It's someone of your own essence, okay? This is why your spiritual bloodline, okay, is way more important than people trying to tie you to bloodlines they think have power. There's no power in these bloodlines. That's why they're still seeking to devour as many people as they can. See, things that are sacred, they don't want just any and everybody. Okay, you have to be particular. That's how I knew Christianity wasn't for me, even as a preacher's daughter. That's how I knew the Muslim, Islam. I knew all of these things were not of my spirit. Okay, and this alone is the very reason why when I went, okay, to meet and be introduced to my ancestors, I had several. I had several. And I used to think this would be, you know, multiple personalities or something. No, it's a lot of different ancestors who are in the same spiritual alignment with you, with your energy. So at that point, you do choose. Okay, most people aren't presented with multiple ancestors. They're usually presented with the one that they need to guide them the most. So if you struggle with temperance, usually, okay, the ancestor that will choose you is an ancestor that basically will test you and your temperance until you control it. Okay, and they're going to be the more mischievous entities. Why? Because, well, the thing you need to conquer is more mischievous and leading you down certain paths. Anger can lead you down some very terrible paths. Okay, but it's also very necessary to have in a lot of situations. The same thing with depression, certain things. Certain things are made to protect you from certain things spiritually that you don't go too far in. Okay, but if you have too much of one and not the other, okay, well, a lot of times the spiritual state of mind you're in this realm chooses for you. So, that being said, you get depressed enough, a lot of times you don't want to live. You see what I'm saying? You stay depressed long enough in a certain energy, certain things like suicide, okay, become the things that you start thinking about and wanting to do. Okay, you stay in angry energy long enough, you rage, you want to purge, you want to delete people. Okay, or yourself. Like I said, certain energies they combat each other. So you have to understand what energy you're in. When you're wanting to do certain practices like voodoo, you need to purge. Okay, if you do not purge, do not participate. Because the only thing you're going to do is set yourself up to start a long journey holding on to things that the ancestors are going to critique you about the entire way. And it's really things that you're battling within yourself, so they cannot take it from you. You have to release it. See, one thing about voodoo, a lot of the things you have to get rid of are in yourself. Your fake mindset, your need for validation, different things like that. One thing that helped me so much when I became initiated, as during the process of becoming initiated, is the fact that I had to be alone. I wasn't allowed any communication, not with people, not with others. I wasn't allowed to communicate. Okay, that's how they keep your spiritual, okay, mental, physical, everything in alignment. You don't talk to outside people when you are actually in the point of making connection and things like that. You don't want to interfere. Too many spirits will interfere with how you connect and how you tether. And you need a tether when you are using sorcery, because sorcery can go any which way. Okay? I don't care what you say. That's like getting in a car and it doesn't have, okay, anything to stop, park, brake. You can try it if you want to, but it's not wise. Now, I want to teach you a little bit of the things that you absolutely cannot do in voodoo. Okay? In voodoo, you cannot serve two masters, meaning you cannot do voodoo, okay, and add, okay, worldly pagan things to your voodoo and expect them to work. Also, you cannot use a lot of worldly things, especially inside of your body, and expect your voodoo to work. Now, this is one reason why I advise fasting. There are a lot of people who cannot afford not to put worldly things in their body because, well, where do you get most of your things? Okay. It's the fact that if you really need to connect, if you're having high intensity moments, okay, if you need your intercessors to work more for you, you have to be empty. Okay? They tether to you more, they work more with you, okay, when you have less things blocking their frequencies and yours. This is how the tether is completed usually. No different than when people go to church and they think they're feeling the spirit. It's really the preacher, okay, and other higher individuals in the church who are tethering to them and feeding off their energy. Okay, so a lot of people are literally mimicking the energy or living vicariously through other people. They cause and provoke the energy reactions they get. This is why in church, most of the reactions that you get from people spiritually have to be provoked, whether with music, song, the thoughts of abundance, motivational speaking through the Bible, different verses, different sermons. Okay, it's always something they're trying to lead you to. But I need you to understand something. This is the difference between false religion and real purpose. I don't consider voodoo a religion. It's considered a religion because of the methods of how you stay connected in it. Okay? But in general, okay, if you want to talk about voodoo and actually compare it, I need you to understand how similar it is to certain things. Yes, you may use altars, okay, but a lot of times you don't have to use altars. The more natural, complex way to actually do voodoo is actually in nature, and usually somewhere where you can connect to all of the elements, okay? Earth, wind, fire, air, okay? Also, you need to understand that if you are going to do voodoo, okay, you, first of all, need to find an intercessor, okay? You need an intercessor. I don't care who you are, how old you are, what you think you know, you need an intercessor. You have to be properly introduced and you have to have a proper cleansing. Okay, this is cleansing of the spirit. This is clarity. You'll probably get different prayers and meditations that you have to do. And in fact, for those of you who are new on my channel, we are going to get into different things as well. Okay, on my channel, and you're more than welcome to stop by and tune in. Like I said, a lot of people come here, they tune in, they listen to different things, they disappear themselves. That's cool. Like I said, I'm not here to misinform you. I'm here to guide you if this is the direction you want to go in. If you do not, that's fine. Be a good person, choose good karma, okay? Watch how you treat people, okay? And so on and so forth. And do you, okay? I said what I said. Now, regardless of what people think, I absolutely know for a fact how much you go against nature is going to have a lot to do with how your sorcery works. So I need you to look at your real life because in your real life, how much you go against nature is going to choose how much the ancestors work for you because a lot of black people naturally go against their nature. So your ancestors can't work for you because they're coming from a place where they had to be in alignment with their nature and nature in general. Okay, the way they did things was differently, more methodically, okay, more naturally, okay, took longer, okay, it was more time effective, more energy poured into it. This is a fact, okay? So you have to understand the energy shift of complaining and not being humble when you're addressing the entities of your own bloodlines who had it much harder than you. Okay, so you're literally asking people who had it harder than you to guide you. That is the biggest part about being connected to your ancestors that matter. And the thing is, can't nobody connect you but you. You have to want it yourself. That's why a lot of people try voodoo, hoodoo, and different types of witchcraft and things like that. And they get upset because they think it's just going wrong. No, it's the fact that the ancestors don't trust you enough to align with you. They fear you trying to serve two masters. That's all. And they don't want to speed up your death quicker. So they reject you because they know you're not ready. Okay, this is why certain people's sorcery experiences go terribly wrong. They feel like because they're not seeing instant results, the ancestors are not doing their job. No, the ancestors are protecting you from an early death because they know you're trying to serve two masters. Okay, and this is a forever thing. This is a staying on your purpose and being accountable, lifelong self-preserving thing. This ain't like the church you can go to and as soon as you get your blessings you stop going until things get hard again. This is not the same thing. Your ancestors will always be there. After you tether, after you conjure them, ask them for guidance, they're gonna be there. Okay, they're not there to judge you like Jesus. They're there to protect you and your energy that you're in. And usually they have to choose you back. They will never choose you back if they're not of the energy that can help you. And that's the wonderful thing about voodoo. See, Jesus conforms everybody. Okay, Muhammad and all these, they conform everybody to the same energy. That's not natural. Okay, a cheetah will never be a giraffe. Okay, a hippo will never be a lion. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So when you get through, okay, most religions modify people's energy into something they're not, which is why they have so much pushback within themselves spiritually against what they're doing. They always have to constantly be talking and convincing themselves they're doing something right by worshiping Jesus and whatever it is they know. It's the fact that spiritually you're corrupt on the inside because you're fighting yourself. You're fighting your own spirituality. Okay, and deep down spiritually you know this. Okay, I don't care who wants to admit it. After a while, most of the time, your spirit is going to give you so much pushback. Life is going to start going in the wrong direction so much, it's going to sicken you. And this is often how the ancestors let you know they're rejecting you too. When you reach out to them, okay, and you acquire to connect and they reject you, a lot of times, as a sign of rejection, they will send you a lot of turmoil, meaning you're not ready, or they'll send you the phases they need to test you on to see if you are. People who struggle with anger, people who struggle with depression, okay, a lot of times like that, the ancestors will send you different signs to see if you're ready, okay? Hi, Miss Tress, how you doing, love? Yes, ma'am, all is wonderful. Like I said, I'm just giving some basics, and I'm going to dive into some other basics later. Okay, you guys, like I said, are welcome to join me. I thank y'all for stopping by. It's a pleasure to see you. I hope you are been doing wonderful, sweetheart. Like I said, certain things on here I try to be as literal about as possible, but I do want to lessen the fear of something that's not meant to be feared, more so revered, if anything. And like I said, fear has been put in so many of the wrong places. I just want people to understand to walk in power. Okay, and walking in your power is more important than purpose, especially in a world that won't allow you to be on your purpose properly. Okay, anything spiritually that conflicts with you being on your purpose, you may want to consider just removing yourself from that and choosing your higher spiritual self, because there's nothing you can't, okay, overcome with your higher spiritual self. It's nothing, not a thing the world can throw at you. It's what the world throws at you when you're not spiritually prepared that keeps you going up and down. Okay, and that's why I try to teach people to heal. Okay, I don't care what you do after you heal, use some sorcery. Okay, go to your ancestors. Don't nobody know what you struggle in your bloodline like your ancestors. Okay, a lot of them was trying to beat certain things as they were passing away, and they knew it. Okay, so you have to understand, you have to talk to the ancestors who were actually making the changes that got us where we are. You can't talk to the ones who still upholding the reason why our grannies and parents and everybody else doing TikTok dances and everything else everybody else doing. No, 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 no. Separate yourself. Okay, separate yourself. I don't care who you need to separate yourself from. Separate yourself. Cleanse. Okay. Go ahead and cleanse. I'm going to do a 7-day fast this week coming up. Join me. I don't care if you just do 24 hours, 48 hours, 3 days. You can do the full thing. Cleanse yourself. And after you cleanse yourself, start grounding yourself. Okay? Start understanding what it means to be honest with yourself. See, the world will have it to where you lie to yourself every day. Y'all can say what y'all want to. A lot of y'all know damn well you don't want to wake up and pay $3,000, $4,000 a month for no house. I don't care if it's with the partner or without. Okay, a lot of y'all know damn well you don't want to wake up and spend your whole life fighting to stay busy and parenting and do. It's not something most people want. Spiritually, a lot of people are battling themselves, and they choose the battle before they even choose the solution to the battle. Therefore, it's harder for the ancestors to even find you, because at that point, they don't consider you ready. They don't consider you mentally sane enough, okay, for them to want to guide you. So imagine being two-faced to yourself, okay? You're a people pleaser sometimes, okay? Always, and the people you people pleasing are usually always the wrong people. Okay, the narcissist, the fakes. Hey, girl. Ooh, I love your hair. You so pretty, girl. I always told my friend I want a biracial daughter. Like, y'all put out so much stuff into the air a lot of times. Okay, the ancestors be hearing you and be like, bitch, I know this is not who coming to me. This is the same girl who's doing that one. The ancestors know you better, especially the ones that are of your bloodline. So imagine acting like the blood you come from don't know how you are. Most of the time, the blood you come from is the only blood that will acknowledge you in the spirit realm. That's why blood is so important. That's why blood type is so important. I don't care if you believe it or not. This is a fact. And this is why the hospitals and medical care systems, they love to take your blood. Okay, when you go up in there, the first thing they trying to do, baby, let me get about 3, 4, 5, 6 tubes of that blood. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. They can't wait to get some of your blood when you go do. You ain't, ma'am, I'm just here for a simple checkup. You need this much blood? Yes, they do, because they still connecting the dots of your bloodline. And a lot of them trying to see where the rest of your dots are at right now. Okay, I said what I said. It's not too hard to test blood. They will take blood from you, okay, and test it in 4 other states to see how many of y'all left. They do this all the time. Y'all need to understand your bloodline is important. I don't care what you do. Start looking up people with your last name and start looking at some similarities. Start understanding why slavery was so much splitting up and mixing up of bloodlines and things of this nature. Because a lot of things they were doing were mixing up curses. Okay, mixing up curses, mixing up hexes, mixing up all types of stuff. Because in these times, a lot of the power that worked against us was each other. The same way we do it now, we just doing it in different ways that they gave us to do it with. Politics and colorism and dumb shit. Okay, but back then, okay, a little bit further back, we was putting curses on each other. Let's be honest about this. Everybody act like white people got power. They curses don't hold the power our own curses hold. Period. Okay, that's why I don't care what you say. It ain't too much white people can put on you can't break. Because most of the stuff they trying to put on you is shit they copied and created a version of themselves and did. I said what I said. It will never hold the same weight as real black magic for black people. Okay? It will never hold that weight. Okay? Most of the curses black people have over them, another black person put it on them. Period. And that will be the only person that could take it off in the name of whoever did that to your bloodline. So imagine losing how to ask for forgiveness, how to stop burning bridges. Okay, like I said, a lot of the war that we're at is spiritual within ourselves. And people still don't get how deep this is. It's within yourselves. Okay, if you could conquer the war between each other as black people, what will white people do to you? Okay, it's not the white people most black people fear. It's each other black people fear. Okay, you ain't calling the white people your ops. You calling each other your ops. Okay, you're not calling everybody else pick me's. You call. Okay. You gonna call them a preference. You see, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? And a lot of y'all bloodlines that y'all think are being cursed by white people or by not accepting Jesus, they've been cursed by other black people. Y'all just forgotten their names. And a lot of times, a lot of people knew they beefs before they even passed away. Okay, y'all remember on Color Purple at the end when she held her hand up and she said, everything you do will fail until you do right by me. Okay? Y'all remember what I'm talking about? This has been a long time thing. See, black people didn't used to speak in the name of Jesus. They used to speak in the name of the ancestors and their families that had the most power. Okay, that's where Big Mama really come from. Big Mama used to be that lady. Okay, you went to her for everything when you was sick. Okay, when you was, do y'all understand? They used to speak things over each other because the power did not come from the government and things like that. In fact, the government was so little involved. Okay, you could only lean towards your own personal bloodline understandings. This is why language had to be taken. This is why beliefs had to be taken and re-given to you. Okay, and they still gave you the same beliefs. They just switched the names up, changed the book, changed the elements, the times, and the places. They gave you the same construct so you would feel spiritually you're used to this. We've been doing this so long. No, they gave you everything rewritten in a way that it has no power because you're calling on the wrong names, talking to the wrong people, the wrong bloodlines. And that is it. It is what it is. You ain't got shit to do with Israelites. That's why Israel fighting their own war and it ain't got shit to do with you. Okay, same thing with Palestine. Same thing with Ukraine. These people are fighting their own wars. This wars. This ain't got shit to do with you as a black person. Okay, you are not a Hebrew. You are not. You are not. Okay, you're not. That is not the reason why white people needed you to stay here and want to be here. No, they need you to stay here because when you break your curses, okay, the power they have over you will be reversed. That is all. That's all the biggest struggle has ever been. If they ever get you to open your eyes and see who you listening to every time you open your mouth and talk against other black people about each other, okay, y'all don't understand who put the curses on you because you still think the curses come from the devil. Well, at this point, y'all don't understand why y'all think each other is the devil. Only some of us understand our curses the way we do. Okay, this is why certain white people, you tell them shit, they be looking like, what? You go through that? What? I've never thought about that in my life. I never even, because it's not for you. Okay, how can you not understand what I'm going through, but you the person that's giving me the religion that I'm supposed, what? Can't nobody who can't understand the life experiences I have as a black person tell me about religion. Who taught you about religion? And who won't tell you your ancestors' names? I said what I said. They will tell you about George Washington. They will tell you about Christopher Columbus. They will tell your ass about dinosaurs. They still won't tell you your bloodline last names and first names because that is the biggest key in your magic actually working and you actually connecting to the right ancestors. And connecting to the right ancestors for you, okay, is pretty much damn near like venom. Okay, when I say damn near like venom, I ain't talking about the bad venom. I'm talking about you can do anything because I said so. And the difference is you're not going to die when your ancestors attached to you. If you've ever seen the movie Venom, this is exactly how your ancestors want to attach to you, but they can't because fake things like Jesus, your ego, political systems, white social constructs are in the way. Okay? It would be nice if your ancestors could connect to you the way you pretend Jesus is talking to you, because at that point, the community might start moving. Who better to tell you how to fix your community than the ancestors who were literally doing that as they passed away? Why the fuck would Jesus tell you how to fix the black community? Jesus wasn't a part of our black community. If anybody was a part of the black community, it would have been Moses. I said what I said. You got more in common with Moses, but you still chasing Jesus. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. This is why I tell people a lot of the things black people hold on to don't make sense, which is why when they try to serve two masters, what I mean by that is, look at how Mary, Kirk Franklin, these are people who swear to God they believe in Jesus and everything holy. They wake up and do mockeries of Jesus. Okay, they walk around feminine, gay, doing gay rituals, participating with a lot of these white people to keep their money and their millions and their gatekeeping going. And a lot of y'all still up here pretending that these are pillars of the black community when they're nothing more than sellouts to white spirituality. And the white spirituality they're using are literally doubling your curses that other black people put on you. So imagine somebody just trying to make sure, okay, that you don't break the black curse. Okay, they're okay with you breaking through racism. They're okay with you breaking through and overcoming, not becoming homosexual. They're okay with you breaking those. What they're not okay with is you breaking through spirituality. They want you to spiritually be inept to being able to find your bloodline. That's why when you look online, look at how all the old heads are talking about, we're going to talk about black men. We're going to talk about racism. We're going to talk about this. Y'all talking about everything but our ancestors, and they are the only thing that's dying. And when they're dead and gone completely, so are you. You can't remember everything after you if you don't remember what's before. And that's what white people spend their whole existence usually doing, pushing out every memory of yourself they can, using kindergarten through 12, religion, politics, gangs, high frequency music, everything in high intensity to make you forget. I said what I said. Because if you forget, you're going to always forgive. That's why I laugh when people say, I forgive, but I don't forget. You forgiving is why you forget. And it's not you that needs to forgive. It's your ancestors who need to forgive. And a lot of them can't because a lot of y'all won't let go to forgiving people who the damage was not done directly to you. It was done to them. So a lot of apologies are being fake misdirected, and they're still being misdirected through the wrong people. See, that's why when you are actually connected and in alignment, your ancestors will find you, and you will find names you ain't never heard of. Y'all done heard Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and all these people names a million times. When you align, your ancestors gonna start popping up names on you ain't never heard before, and their stories are so trill and so deep and raw. You gonna understand the ancestors are trying to get you to understand. You're carrying their pain. You're carrying their anger. You're carrying all the things they didn't purge, but you were born in. Okay, you were born into these spirits. And they know this because a lot of them are still living vicariously through you. Okay, this is not an act. A lot of times they choose, okay, whomever. They need to act out their energy. So if you are not mentally available in a certain place to where you can defend yourself from spiritual attacks, a lot of y'all gonna be just like the mentally disabled man on the NC stabbing, who did that to the white lady. Y'all gonna be just like him. The ancestors are going to be purging through you because you're empty spiritually. And just like we have the ancestors who were calm and nurturers and everything else, we also have those ancestors who were done so wrong that they're only in a state of purging. This is why I say voodoo is a beautiful thing if you use it correctly, because you're able to direct your rage, you're able to direct all the things. And the thing is, you don't have to do it yourself. You can give it to your ancestors. Okay, a lot of the pain and the strife we carry is from doing things we can't control our emotions doing. So you end up suffering in this realm, and you don't have to, because there's already an ancestor that's waiting to carry that pain for you and let it out. You got to give it to him. That's all. That's why I tell when they tell you, oh, you need something to take your energy out on, let your hyperactivity out. It's the same thing for black people. You need something to unleash, and you don't know how to do it properly. So you unleash on each other, period. And a lot of people don't understand this. They be unleashing on the bloodlines. Usually they're hexed by, or that they're binded to, trauma wise. Okay, so a lot of bloodlines, they don't even understand why they like each other. They know they're toxic for each other. They can't stay away. It's the trauma bonds that were developed before you even thought about. Okay, some of y'all trauma bonds that y'all think y'all got from choosing toxic men and stuff like that, baby, this ain't a new age thing. A lot of times y'all just passed down the trauma from about 4 generations ago. Okay, a lot of people are still broken. A lot of people are still chasing the men who never came home after being taken in the woods. Okay, a lot of them are still living in fear. Okay, a lot of them are still living in emotions you have to cleanse together. Period. And this is why I teach y'all that certain things are divisive to the black community. They do not fucking help us heal. And you can only heal a community together. How the fuck you gonna heal the community separately? No, this shit here is deeper. We have to do it together. That's why people think they're stronger in numbers. In all those numbers, we're still fighting ourselves spiritually when now is not the time to be fighting amongst ourselves. Yeah, I'm sure y'all done heard that before. Yeah. Mistress said they love to say that ain't nothing but the devil. No, that's your karma. Do you hear me, Mistress? That's all it is. And this is why I tell black people you need to stop letting go of things that interfere with your karma. They're lying to you, and your karma is going to be 10 times worse. Okay. Hey, Mindful Moments, how you doing, lovely? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. It's good to see y'all ladies here. Like I said, I always start the conversation like when I know the trolls are in here trolling. Okay, so if I rambled in the beginning, don't mind because I know a lot of people were here who didn't align. That's all. Okay, but we here, let's talk. Okay, and like I said, a lot of people, okay, are trying to use a lot of white people ritualistic methods to bypass black karma. Okay, and black karma, what a lot of people don't understand is from forgetting your ancestors. Your ancestors are fucking you up because they like, how dare you? We fought for you. We died for you. We died the bloodiest. It ain't a Jesus in this world who died bloodier than your ancestors. Okay? And your ancestors are raging you. Okay? A lot of white people already know this. A lot of white people already know this. That's why they ain't scared to get online and talk shit and be racist and troll and, black people and monkeys. And they're not scared. They taunt you because the real curse is yourself on each other. You've cursed yourself with each other. Okay? They literally, see, y'all don't even look at it as deep as it is. Some people do, some people don't. But in general, most people ain't looking at it like, imagine having one bloodline. Okay? And one bloodline wanted to get free, the other one didn't. Okay, so one of the other bloodlines cursed the other one, and they got on down. Okay, so imagine forgetting a lot of the turmoil we went through because some of us wanted to stay in slavery and bondage, and some of us said, "Nah, fuck this, we getting on out of here." Okay, we have the Rosa Parks and the Harriet Tubmans. I'm gonna sit down and let these white folks make me famous, and I got these white folks do whatever the fuck they want to do. I'm gonna save my people, and they can come find me. Fuck you, man. Okay, and in voodoo, you have to be like Harriet because white people will always find you to humble you. They're not finding you to enhance you. They're finding you to humble you after thinking they've given you something that the ancestors can give you more of. That's why being quiet is a virtue as a black woman. It ain't because of femininity. It's because the ancestors don't need you talking to anything that will interfere in the karma they're trying to carry out on your behalf so that you don't have to get the karma of the people in your bloodline, okay, that unnecessarily cursed you. You don't ask to be here. Y'all need to understand this. A lot of y'all curses, okay, are being passed down through your parents purposely because y'all parents are the first people, okay, who introduce you to forgetting. It ain't your grandparents, it's your parents. Okay, that's why some parents teach their kids about certain things, some people don't. Well, my mama didn't do this for us, we did this, so I'm giving y'all this for Christmas. No, keep that shit. If y'all didn't get it for Christmas, help us remember why y'all didn't get it for Christmas. Let's find something else to do for Christmas. Matter of fact, let's celebrate a whole different day. Can we have something that's ours? Imagine still want to be a part of every fucking thing white people do while crying about what the fuck you want separate. Get over yourselves. If you could get over the white mindsets y'all have adopted, you would wake up and be like, none of this shit makes sense but what you're saying. Why? Because You've forgotten where you come from. You've forgotten who you've come from. And when you forget where you come from, they forget you too. That's why the world's getting worse. That's why black men are getting more feminine. That's why black women are becoming the red pill Kevin Samuels they always crying about. Energy's off, and it's been off, and it's because you're trying to remember everything on TikTok and everywhere else, but you can't fucking remember where you come from. And the spirits and entities that are like, if they don't hurry the fuck up, because I need to carry out some rage. Your ancestors are trying to purge, and you won't even allow them to live vicariously through you because you want Jesus to live through you. You want to be in it. I said what I said. If you let your ancestors finish what the fuck they started, it ain't too much you gotta do. But that's why they gave you Jesus. They got Jesus acting like he's your ancestors. No, your ancestors gonna come through and shake this motherfucker up. That's what white people don't want you to talk about right now. That's what white people want you to be scared of. Notice how in all the scary movies, white people act like they kicking ass, and the little 110-pound white girl, Kill Bill style, fuck you, I'm not going. You know, they're always making themselves seem more powerful than they are. But in general, okay, if your ancestors came through, everybody will be in the house and your ancestors will still be purging like the movie. That's how deep your ancestors want to come through on your behalf, and you won't even remember them. And if you don't remember them, okay, enough generations, their power is not going to be for you. That's why the people who tap into that power, a lot of y'all be looking at us like we crazy. Don't look at us like we crazy. We telling you what they telling us. Okay, we're not here to scare you. They not here to scare you. If you scared of them, it's because you trying to serve two masters, and the ancestors don't want you to serve them. They just want you to remember. Jesus needs your servitude. Your ancestors need you to remember yourself. Imagine one being so easy, but you still choose the harder one. I choose forgetting myself and serving Jesus. Because, shit, I can sin as much as I want, and I said what I said. You better get ready. Because those of you who are actually trying to be in alignment, who are getting your intercessors in alignment so that your ancestors can come through and move waves for you and protect you, you're going to be the only black people that survive this go round. If you can't tell, they keep talking about how black people, okay, and our numbers are lesser. Our numbers are going to be lesser. They're not going to double the way y'all think they are. And it's because there's more black people being taken out by karma than being protected by the ancestors, and white people are responsible for that karma. In fact, they contribute to it. They contribute to your speedy death as black people who are meant to live longer, because they give you things that are not of yourself. And what do I mean? Jesus, politics, whiteness, false education. It's thy knowledge that is perverting thee. They have none. Cavemen can't give you knowledge that you had when you were already in civilizations that were well built and thriving. Why would they be the people giving you knowledge? So you mean to tell me you wash your ass every day, but the people who want to brag about not using washcloths and washing their ass once a week are the people that you think deserve? White people are not ready for their karma. And they still trying to get black people to take on their karma unnecessarily, because black people always have, except for your older ancestors who said, put that voodoo on them. Okay? Because voodoo, when you use it on yourself, is meant for healing. The reason why people got scared of voodoo is because we started using it on each other in the wrong ways. Okay? It's for your healing. It's not for your cursing. Okay, the energy that we started tapping into started to be against ourselves. To this day, that's still what we're battling. Ourselves. If we could get over the battle with ourselves, okay, it ain't nothing or nobody we can't conquer. And imagine a lot of people, we already conquer them just by being our fucking selves. But imagine if you could be yourself properly. See, a lot of us ain't being ourselves. We're being what we were raised to be. What we were taught we should be, how to survive in this white racism filled world. Okay, when you stop being scared of racism, and say, ancestors, okay, I need you to work on my behalf swiftly. Okay, and in the greatest intensity, I trust you. I know you are the only people that made a way for me. I know that you are the ones who still keep me protected in this realm where they keep telling me it's stuff that doesn't align with me that's protecting me. I know it's you. Start giving reverence to your ancestors and watch how they show up and show out for you. This is how you start the process of understanding and being in alignment and being introduced in voodoo. You have to start the conversations yourself, but be careful. And why do I say be careful? Only talk to your ancestors when you are fasted. Anything in between there, when you are not used to talking and you haven't already connected and been introduced to your ancestors, okay, who have connected and actually acknowledge you back, okay, they could be anybody. They could be anybody bloodline, and I promise you they're going to be black. It ain't the white people's ancestors that's gonna show up and play mischievous games. It's the black ones. And y'all know we got a lot of Home Alone, Indiana Jones spirit in us. So what's gonna happen if you ever try to reach out to your ancestors in bad intention? Okay, they're gonna send you a mischievous spirit to match your energy. Be careful. Okay, when you need to do mischievous things, you still need permission. And you still have to get permission from the ancestors, okay, who still control those mischievous ones. Okay, there's order and chaos, but chaos has to be given permission in our realm. Okay, chaos only thrives and is allowed to do what it wants here. We are the realm of order. If you don't understand that, that's why black people don't let certain shit. Okay, that's why y'all gonna hear me, Shadow, get your ass down. You do not be on kitchen counters. Okay, that is not our, you see what I'm saying? We are order in the chaos of people who want to do whatever the fuck they want. And when you realize that, you'll stop trying to give people what they want, which is nothing, and start doing what you need to, because it heals the mother, it heals the land, it heals your self-preservation, it heals you, it heals all the things that they are speaking into backwards and putting into place ritualistically, okay, with their sorcery. Okay, this is why the moon cycles matter more than you guys going to church on the wrong day. You don't go to church on Sunday. The disrespect y'all give to y'all's ancestors pisses me off. And I say y'all's because all of us ain't got the same ones. Some of our ancestors go hard. I don't know about y'all, but my ancestors started kicking my ass when I thought I was going to do what I wanted to after I had been introduced. And I had to humble myself because I said, baby, look, if my life going to go like this, what do you need? What the fuck is... They need you to listen. Okay? Because you gonna know when they talking. They gonna talk to you in ways ain't nobody ever talked to you. And shit gonna click that ain't never clicked before. They're gonna say things to you that you ain't never heard nobody else articulate because they're only talking to you. Okay? See, I've never been oppressed, sweetie. Okay? Try not to convince yourself that you've ever been oppressed. You've had everything but oppression and you still have nothing. What are you? See, this is why language is important. See, white people are air. White people are air. I'm going to say this again. White people are air. This is why, as black people, the elements you connect the most to are land and water. Everything else are elements that you have to use for sorcery. Okay, why? Because they direct energy. This is how you're able to understand language. But language works of the wind. Language is really the dynamic of changing the wind in your dialect. That's what the fuck language is. So you have to understand when they say things like Prince of the Air, it's Prince of language. They use air to convince you of things that don't exist. So what you're hearing is frequencies on air. That's what words are. Okay, if you want to be literal, let's get fucking literal then. Language is of the air element. That's why they tell you power lie in the tongue. Okay, that's why I tell y'all sometimes shut up talking about shit that don't matter. Because the ancestors, okay, or the entities that want to connect with you, they don't give a fuck about that. They already know that it's perverted knowledge. They don't need you to re-explain the lies that have been given to you. They just trying to give you truth, and they need you to stop trying to meet their truth with the fake knowledge like the Bible and everything else you keep trying to convince yourself of that is above you, and it ain't. Get it? So a lot of times when y'all think, okay, let me get you out of here because I'm talking, peasant. And when I talk, you listen, you fucking scum of the earth. See, as the salt of the earth, I can say that. But what would you know? Because you're not even the real salt of the earth. The real salt of the earth is black. But I notice certain people can't help but whitewash everything. The only real salt you guys don't even understand is pink and it is black. That's why y'all don't understand when I tell y'all about certain things. It's the fact that they have to bleach everything and lighten everything. Everything has to be made in an image that is not really in. Okay, everything has to be fake modified because certain people deplete everything they touch. They can't appreciate nature. They go against it. Imagine when you naturally nurture and then there are entities that naturally destroy because their only nature is going against nurture. They don't like nurturement. They like to do whatever they want. This is something that goes against nurturement. Nurturement is what teaches you order. It's what teaches you togetherness, community. This is why I tell y'all, there's no bigger liars than the white community. This is why they need a Democrat, a Republican. This is why we need Jews. And there's no more split up, never want to be together, but always come together when it's time to fight other people than white people. Okay? I said what I said. Okay? Because everything else is a open battle of we don't like these people. Black people do the same thing. All white people have gotten you to do is mimic them. Didn't they tell you God should not be mocked? Well, we're not doing godly things. That's why when people are doing godly things, they move different. Okay? A lot of the things in life hit them different, but for some kind of reason, there are certain people who are so protected through their bullshit. Y'all know what I mean. And some of y'all might be those people who have gone through those times too, where you know things in your life are so fucked up and something keeps on keeping you, and you know it is not the fake things they keep telling you it is. Okay? In all intensity and truth, it's because certain ancestors are fighting for you not to leave. See, some of y'all are the last energies of your bloodline. Okay, I need y'all to understand this. When you're, okay, what I consider a last bloodline energy, the ancestors gonna protect you whether you know them or not. Do you hear me? They gonna come through and be like, nah, buddy, you ain't robbing her today. She need this car for 4 more months. Okay? I don't care what it is. The ancestors who know you are your bloodline's last hope will always fight for you harder, even when you don't remember them. That's why when you get a chance to remember them, you better remember them and appreciate them like they still here with you, because they are. They're the ones who literally put you in the sleep realm when they know something here is about to take you out. Y'all ever have those times where you be like, girl, I'm finna go to this movie today. I'm finna go. And then all of a sudden you be like, girl, I'm so tired. A lot of times the ancestors be fighting so hard for y'all while y'all be awake. And a lot of times while y'all sleep, they over here causing havoc to keep shit away from you. Do you hear me? That's why y'all wake up and hear all types of shit. Them ancestors moving. White folks don't have that type of power here. They only have that power over themselves. They have to manipulate forces to kill us here. And the biggest force they use to manipulate us is each other. Because the easiest thing that could take us out is each other. I don't care what y'all think. That's why a lot of black people will talk their shit to white people. White people talk their shit too until you head up their ass. Okay? Square up with one of their ass and see how quick they change. This ain't MMA, bitch. Do you know the rage and ancestors in me? A lot of y'all only find your rage and ancestry when white people play with you. You should find that same rage when black people who forget themselves play with you. Because the ancestors going to show up in a different way than white rage. See, white rage is going to kill you and want you exterminated. See, your ancestors might show up, whoop your ass, but they doing it in love. Now, I'm gonna tell you why I did this. Okay, I didn't even want to whoop your ass, but I told you to stop doing that. I told you to stop doing that. It offended me, and I was just trying to get this done. That is all. Okay, then. Well, now you know. Now you know you needed that lesson. Okay, the ancestors don't punish you the way white people punish you spiritually. They love you. Why would they punish you like that? See, when the ancestors allow certain things to succumb you in blackness, it's because you taunted them first. Okay, you can't get mad when you taunt bloodlines that are full of rage. You thought you could change the rage. No, you need to let that bloodline heal that rage and stop thinking you're the healer of rage. That's not your element. There is a spirit that will conquer that rage, and it will come in a form they will be. See, men get humbled, okay, by their ancestor spirit. Okay, and it's usually a woman who comes and sits them all the way down. It ain't always lust. A lot of times, y'all, as women, you could be like, what the fuck does he see in her that he is up here? It's his, that ancestor spirit came full throttle and said, you got me fucked up. I know who you are. I remember you, Johnny. A lot of us are, our ancestors are living vicariously through us. They finish and they unfinished business through us, so on and so forth. I do not care what you believe. This is a fact. This is why some days you wake up, you can't control your anger. This is why some days you wake up, you can't control your depression. A lot of times, okay, when you sleep, okay, especially the energy you go to sleep in, will choose what attaches to you and comes back with you. And it can only be your ancestors. You ain't coming back with Becky. You coming back with one of your own. You just don't know who because you don't fucking remember nobody. Okay, if you remembered certain energies, if you understood energy and signs, you'd be like, baby, this is some strong Capricorn energy I'm feeling today. I'm feeling like I'm getting shit done. Y'all gotta remember, everything has an energy. And y'all don't know, okay, y'all's bloodline's energy. Start researching. Get the fuck off TikTok talking about shit that piss you off. Because right now, white people want you to be enraged so you can't direct your energy properly. Get the fuck offline and stop letting people play with you. Okay, your ancestors like, man, you don't get the fuck off there. We got you. Just, man, we got you. Okay, your ancestors are always there, ready to show up and show the fuck out. And most white people know this. This is why they will talk they shit until they won't. Okay, until they won't. I said what I said. So let white people talk their shit. While they talking their shit, you start remembering the people they trying to make you forget. Because that's what white people don't want you to take the time to do. They want you so busy chasing YouTube and content creator fame. You ain't got time to remember. I ain't come here to make you remember how men ain't shit. And when you get through, men are absolutely what the world makes them too. If you understand alignment, you understand duality. Okay, so once you get in alignment, everything else gonna have to follow. Okay, it ain't no one or the other. We ain't finna go to war with the men like that. If anything, it's gonna be the straight men and sissies going to war with the men who always said they don't want to be sissies and all that. Y'all see what I'm saying? So as women, you better start aligning because certain energies you can only handle with your real ancestry. And them ain't strong black women. Those are sorcery black women. Okay, they strength wasn't physical. It was absolutely spiritual. That is why black women have a different essence, a different spirit. People try to cosplay your essence more than anything. They can be dressed like a white girl. They might try to talk like you. They may try to do when you get, it's your essence, baby. Okay, so the women who don't get this, it's because you're performing your femininity, and it's usually white femininity. Okay, I said what I said. Dressing like a businesswoman, dressing like Hillary Clinton does not make you aligned. Okay? In fact, it's the opposite. Okay? When the ancestors connect with you, a lot of stuff gonna come right out your fucking closet. It ain't even gonna, you ain't even gonna want it in there. Okay, same thing with the hats you wear, and a lot of stuff is going to come up out you real quick when you really align with your ancestors, because it's not going to let you look at it the same, feel it the same. You're going to put it on, them clothes going to have a different energy because you're going to be connecting for real. You're going to be like, no, this shit ain't even fresh like I thought it was. Yeah, let me donate this to somebody, because you know it's still somebody that appreciate that, but you're going to start doing things differently. And guess what? The ancestors going to give you more than you ever thought you could have in this world. And it's going to be all things that have more value than anything white people, education, religion, and everything else has ever taught you could have. And one of those things, more than anything, is going to be your peace of mind. Okay, most people don't understand, especially black people. I don't give a fuck how nice that mortgage is. Ain't nothing peaceful about paying no mortgage. Fuck y'all. Okay, you want to come on here and lie to everybody? Keep lying. Okay, ain't nothing like having your own piece of the pie. Buy land. Name the streets after your kids. What do you mean? You are here to align. And when you get ready to align, the ancestors are going to help you do whatever you need to do. But you got to do it with good intention. And the good intention is mostly you doing it for the betterment of you and your bloodline and the people that think like your bloodline. It ain't about who hate you, who oppose you. It's always going to be battles in that Cain and Abel spirit. Okay? That's always going to be there. But that's not really the Cain and Abel spirit. It's not. It's whiteness. It's whiteness competing with duality. And guess what? I don't give a fuck how much you like the sun. Do the night still come out? You can like the day as much as you want. The night still gonna come in here and do its thing. And this is the biggest part y'all need to understand about duality. White people want to take darkness out of duality and have it for themselves. And they've not been given that. See, black people have been given the ability to be out in the sun and not burn. You also can still camouflage with your surroundings even in the sun. That's why you're brown. You can go right through the jungle and hide and do whatever you need to do so that you can camouflage. This is a fact. And the sun does not hurt you. Okay? But the thing is, the night protects you even more as a black person. Okay, the sun, the daytime already protects you. You got the sun giving you energy, charging up. Y'all don't know what to do with your elements. You're wasting your time. And certain people have set you up to do it purposely. Okay, you spend more time charging up, we'd already be Dragon Ball Z around this bitch. I said what I said. And just like at night, okay, when the sun protects you as black people during the day through all this spiritual, low vibrational, want to take you out energy. Okay, the nighttime comes, and guess what? You're still able to blend into the night like a thief in it. Okay, there's not one way duality does not love on you as a black person. And certain people are jealous of that. They always have been. You can't hide in the day. The sun won't let them. Oh, I see you. Just turn your red. Okay, you can't hide at night. What the fuck is this white person? That's why when I see scary movies, ain't nothing like seeing a white person stand in the woods. Cause you look out of place. The fuck is you doing here? You ain't, you show sticking out like a sore thumb. What you doing here? Okay, it ain't they place. I say it again. If I ever be in the woods and see a white person come out, I'm already gonna know, baby, it's something in you. Cause why you here? I said what I said. Okay, I know why I'm here. God damn it. Okay. But notice how white people have pretended all of a sudden they have found protection in our comfort place. That's why white people love pretending. I love hiking. I love this. I love that. No, they just like pretending they're in nature because they know where they want to be in surplus. You're not going to want to be. That's why I say you better start getting bold sometimes. Take your ass outside and ground yourself. Go stand in the sun. You ain't going to burn. Okay, go get you some tan lines. Some of y'all a little light skinned too. Go out there and ground yourself. Go out there and be in your elements. Okay, start getting back to nature and watch how white people start being a little nervous. Oh, these black people going out in there. What they doing? Okay, they gonna start following your ass out there, or they gonna take their ass back in the house. I said what I said because you can't be out there together. I know y'all don't believe this, but you can't be out there together in bulk because only one of us have disappointed nature in extremity. It ain't us, and I just want you to know that it ain't us. Okay. So anything that goes against nature, okay, this is also why a lot of times y'all don't hear stories about black people dying in nature the way you hear all these other folks. An alligator got cut open and there was two people in it. Was it? I bet they wasn't black. People were skiing today and this happened. Okay, this is why I talked about the young lady who was on the boat ride and she passed away, fell off the boat. A lot of times the ancestors don't like when you having too much fun, especially in places where they haven't been remembered. I don't give a fuck where you think you ain't remembered. It's a lot of places where the ancestors gonna make you remember they there. Cause they gonna take your ass when they there. They ain't gonna take all the white folks around. They gonna take your black ass. What the fuck you doing here excited and shit and don't remember us? She got us fucked up. She finna meet us today. Yeah, come on off that boat. You got us fucking get her. Okay? It's us that takes us. And a lot of us are getting taken because you forget. Period. I don't give a fuck if you want to get mad and act like you don't understand what I'm saying. Live long enough. Watch how easy it is when you remember, and watch how tough life gets when you're trying to forget and replace it with everything else. When all you gotta do is just remember your ancestors. Why you think they'll give you everything? They'll give you religion. They'll give you kindergarten through 12. They'll give you the deltas, the AKAs. They'll give you the bull. They'll give you fame. They'll give you all this fake validation. But what they won't fucking give you is your real last names. You got to search for it, don't you? There's power in a name. But I need y'all to understand there's more power in power than there is in words. This is why language is important. This is why when I say I want you guys to buy certain things, I'm not giving away shit for free because that's how hard I gatekeep shit I don't want in the wrong hands. Period. Okay, there's certain shit that I bet not ever hear certain people say. Cause I'm a double curse hex your ass. It don't even need to come out your mouth. It ain't even a place you need to be roaming. Okay, this is what a lot of people do. They think they can play with information that ain't meant for them to be even listening to. Okay. And like I tell people, when the ancestors give me information and other people try to repeat it, just watch how they dwindle. Because like I said, for every black person that think they can just steal content from everybody and repeat everybody, a lot of ancestors do not approve of them and they do not acknowledge them. So sometimes you can be upset, but always let the ancestors handle things when it comes to you. What I mean, against people that look like you. Now, people that look like others, you may have to use a little bit more force, and you may have to use a little bit more mischievousness. Okay, but that is what voodoo is for. It's not made for you to use improperly against each other because that is what taints it. It also taints your spirit. And like I said, you can absolutely taint yourself. So a lot of people get into voodoo because they think, oh, voodoo dolls. And when you get through, and when you get into voodoo for the wrong reasons will always get into you. That is the best way I can explain it. You have not been properly introduced to understand how certain things work. The only times I use voodoo dolls, okay, is for healing usually. Okay, literally, I heal the places that need healing through voodoo dolls. I've done it for other people. I had to end up doing it for myself, which is how I healed my own cancer, almost into complete remission. Okay, so on and so forth. But this is actually what voodoo is meant for. It's meant for healing. Okay? It is meant for healing. And it's not just physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's so much more and so forth. Okay? This is what it's for. A lot of people don't understand how deep spiritual things operate. Certain spiritual things, like certain limbs of your body. Certain spirits attached to your arms, your hands. Certain spirits attached to your words, your mind. That's what they need. Certain things attached to your legs. They need to travel. Certain, you see what I don't care what you think. This is a fact. Certain energies use different parts of your body because that's where their chakras lie. Okay, so depending on how high or low their chakras are as an energy will depend on what they need you to do. I need you to go to this place and do this. I need you to say this to this person. I need you to manipulate this girl to do that. When you get through, it's all about what energy they are. So if you don't understand energy, you are always going to be in constant manipulation by every type of fucking zodiac energy out there. And they're not really zodiac energies. Okay? They're not zodiacs. Okay. I'm going to tell you the name for that in my members only, but they're really not called zodiac signs. In fact, if you want me to be thorough, okay, most signs don't understand how similar they are, which is why when I do breakdowns about signs, I'm very, very minimal because, well, let's keep it a buck. Most fire signs, I don't care which kind you are, you usually have the same similarities. The only thing that's different is your curses. Okay, this goes for everything that's a water sign. Everybody that's a water sign, you're usually the same except for your curses. That's what makes you different. How you handle your curses and how you break them or don't. That is your biggest difference as signs. That's why most fire signs can get along. Most water signs, y'all got to understand, it's the healed or unhealed energies in you, okay, that allow you to connect with other things that are of yourself. Okay, it's not that many differences in energies in the elements. Elements are about aligning. Okay, I don't care what type of fire you are, you still hot, ain't it? Okay, I don't care what type of oven it is, it still get a little toasted, don't it? Okay, that's what I mean. Same thing with water. I don't care what type of transparency you are. There's always a different type of transparent. So it's literally an intensity. Okay, what the different signs represent when they say I'm this type of fire sign, but I'm this and I, it's the intensity, okay, of that sign that makes them seem different. And like I said, the intensity is really their curses. Period. Okay. Now, I want to tell you guys about something else real quick before I stop thinking about it. When it comes to healing, okay, yourself, you need to consider healing yourself before you get into doing sorcery, okay? And when we start doing my live streams, I'm going to help you guys understand because guess what? In voodoo, you pray too. Okay, you do, but you don't pray to false deities. Okay, you pray to the real ones. Okay, and when I say the real ones, you pray to the mother, you pray to the elements you're of. Okay, mother of the water, mothers of the one eye. Okay, flowed from and will flow back to. Okay, you have to be literal in your intentions, what you mean, how you feel, what you need flowed to you, what you need flowed out of you. You have to be literal. This is why when you talk, you need to learn, okay, in voodoo, one big thing about, okay, doing voodoo is you don't spend a lot of time talking. You do the most talking with your mind. This is how you keep certain things from playing in the air around you. See, the air is what transfers and misdirects things. Okay, that grapevine of wordplay that people use is how a lot of people get caught up in saying the wrong things, saying them out loud around the wrong people, letting people know. This is the biggest part about why a lot of people in church, what they asking for don't work because they bring you to an altar and the only sacrifice you have is yourself. And in reality, unless you're about to delete yourself, that is not a sacrifice. You ain't sacrificing nothing. Okay? So when you don't bring anything to the altar to sacrifice, the only thing the world is assuming you want to sacrifice is your children. So this is one reason why the church is full of women with kids. They're really using these women and kids as sacrifices for their hirement. I said what I said. This is why oftentimes they don't preach things that will get masculine energy into church. Masculine energy does not sit and talk, it is active. Okay, this is why I always said that white men's superpower is not what everybody thinks it is. White men's superpower is talking because most white men are of the air element. This y'all will never understand this. Okay, most black people are connected to land and water. White people are usually connected to air and fire. This is why they spread and they spread contagiously the same energy. It's usually full of rage and it's really hard to put out. But the elements of black people, okay, the land and the water is usually what they have to meet to get cooled down and become something else. Okay, meaning you become a part of the earth that you're trying to not be a part of. See, when you think about wind, it's its own, you see what I'm saying? The land and the water, they merge. You can't have one without the other. In fact, there's land all up in the ocean. And I want to tell you something that's so different about water and land as black people, because I need y'all to understand where you connect. Okay, you connect to the land and the water. Okay, that's why I think it's funny. White people and certain people are always saying black people can't swim. It's hilarious considering you're the person that can't get to the bottom of the ocean. You're not meant to. You're not meant to. It's too deep for you. Just like a lot of things that you're not meant to comprehend. It's the deepness that certain people will never get to that they keep trying to explore because they're not made to. And y'all can say what y'all want to. The main reason why white people can't get to the bottom of the ocean is because it's black people down there. I said what I said. A lot of realms white people keep trying to deter and break through. There's nothing more than ancestors waiting for them to keep trying to break through. That's why they're met with failure. All the way down to the breaking of the firmament. This is real. Now, the firmament is real not because of the Bible, but because of the witchcraft that created the firmament. But the firmament is in the shape of a crystal ball. And I need y'all to understand why they put the world in the crystal ball, because when they show the world in the shape of a globe, they're damn near just mimicking. And I, like what I told y'all, God shall not be mocked. The world is pretty like the mother is holding it in her hands and just doing whatever she wants with it whenever she gets ready. Whenever she decides to pick us up, it's like having an unruly child that won't listen. Sometimes you got to let them do what? Figure it out, right? They got to learn the hard way. And one thing about mothers, okay, they have to let you learn the hard way. But one thing about your mother is, just like she brought you into this world, when you learn the hard way in death, she's still going to be waiting for you, because most mothers are reliable like that. Okay, I said what I said. That's why I think it's crazy that men have convinced women, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Okay, you come do a reverse baptism. You come in through a woman, but men need you to do a baptism in the name of them. Okay, come out and say that they're everything that women are. Then turn around when you die, they want you to go to men. It's a lie. It's actually the opposite. Okay, it's literally like this. We all come from the mother, and back to her we shall return. Okay? We all come from the mother, and we all go back to Mother Earth when we're done. I don't care what form, I don't care how death presents itself to you and you succumb to it. You will still go back to the elements the way the mother sees fit. Okay, you may go to the land, you may go to the sea. A lot of people think they can pick their elements. No, the elements are gonna send you wherever the fuck they think you're of. If they spread your ashes in the sea, and the sea don't want you there, they gonna send your ass right to land. Okay, they gonna have the air come evaporate your ass and send you some. Why do you think certain things you can't see? And I need y'all to understand why I tell y'all white people are of a different energy than land and water. They're air and fire. Okay, they have to be always pretty much aired and fanned to keep their flame, okay, like fire, okay? In other words, but the thing is, you could always put a fire out. Do y'all see what I'm saying? You can put a fire out with so many things, even itself, okay? You can, okay? When fire meets cooler fire, it cools it down. Okay, y'all can say what y'all want to. This is why how coals work and things like that. It may start with a flame, but as it burns down, it turns into other. Y'all see what I'm saying? So certain people don't understand. This is why white people use words. They are of the air element. They are literally the prince of the air. They control the traction of what you're always hearing with the air. Okay, they control even what you receive in your music. They're always flowing something to you by word. Now, when you speak, I need you to understand, when you speak, you are stopping breathing. This is why you have to stop when you're talking to breathe. Okay? When you talk, okay, you are not breathing. You're not. You can't do both at the same time. This is why I say fire and air don't mix. But fire and air is what controls language. Because you wouldn't be able to talk right now if you weren't controlling the heat within your body, okay, and the air that you're using to communicate these words. See, words are formed by the wind in your body. It's your tongue that forms the way the wind comes out. Okay, this is why I tell y'all have to beware. When they say Prince of the Air, that's Jesus. Okay, it's the word play they're giving you of Jesus that's making convincing you he controls everything. This is wordplay of air. This is what air does. Air is a talker. Why y'all think they like the last airbender? Okay, they bend some fucking air. If they don't do nothing else, they gonna bend that air. What them words say? Why you think they come in the chat and trolls biggest thing is talking? This is why I say if you understand what the energies people are of, you'd stop being scared of them and stop feeding into it. It ain't powerful. Okay? It's not that powerful. It's only powerful when it's gathered, when it's in intensity, okay, when it's raging, Okay, you see what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't understand that air is not as powerful without all the other air elements. In fact, all the other elements still do their thing even when air is not present. Do you hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't, it's okay. You may just need to take a little more time so that the ancestors can open your mind. I'm not going to do it for you. It's not my job. You have to connect on a deeper level to where you can get to your understandings and let the universe talk to you, because only your ancestors going to tell you what you need to hear. They're going to tell you things much differently than they would ever tell me. That's why I tell people this ain't a journey about me. This ain't about me trying to get you to do what I do. I want you to speak to, okay, your higher self and the things that actually allow you to evolve and protect yourself without using whiteness to try to hide behind. You don't need whiteness to protect you. Whiteness is not there to protect you. It's there to conform you and to extinct you. Okay? And the white people who say, I don't see color, I don't, when they get through, okay, it's because they're the wind. They say whatever they need to say to make shit flow. That's what wind does. So when you realize that, you will be water. Water is transparent. But when you get through, okay, they cannot get through you. They can never get through the bottom of you. That's why they ain't never got to the bottom of the fucking ocean, and they never will. The same way they'll never get to the bottom of you. You are an ocean mystery. You are a mystery that white people are still trying to figure out to this day. How the fuck are you still here? Why? But it's because land grounds us. Okay? I don't give a fuck how wavy and troubled water gets, which is how a lot of y'all's energy is. It's the land element in you that usually keeps y'all from acting like the troubled water that's within you. If a lot of y'all understood how serious that cooling water was from grandma's well, you might understand the magic that it had. And we ain't talking Florida water either, okay? It's a lot of water that has the same intensity, because most of y'all greats did not play when it came to voodoo, okay? Why you think you had to have everything taken? This shit too, I didn't believe it worked, but I think it's working, okay? People knew it worked, okay? So much so they were scared of it working. Okay, I need something that work absolutely against this. To this day, black people working against themselves and blaming it on the people who said, all we did was steer you the wrong way. You just can't find the way back. Well, if you would stop listening to air, okay, you'd get there. Okay, because I don't care what you say. I don't care how hot the day is. You can always make your own air. Okay, you can grab a piece of paper or something, fan yours. I don't care what you say. You can always create your own air. And that's why the world is the way it is. It's thy knowledge that perverts thee, but you can only get the knowledge through air. So be careful of word of mouth, because it's really just word of air. I said what I said. And on YouTube, it's a lot of people that I be telling y'all about who like to repeat word of air. Okay, but they don't understand the difference that comes when you're repeating element. And it's element from, okay, ancestors that didn't ask you to repeat what they're saying because they didn't say it to you. Okay, this is why a lot of people think they're going to be on here successful. 10, 15 years later, they still on here begging for attention and to be seen and validation, because the ancestors still don't align you. It ain't nothing you could do, okay, with bad intention and false validation intentions that the ancestors going to allow you to align for real. You may be remembered, but you will never be remembered in the spiritual realm, just here. And that's why I say, when they talk about that Bible, they be telling you curses that you're speaking over yourself. For what so a man, okay, profit to gain the whole world, okay, all the knowledge, the things in it, okay, and lose your soul. Because that's what y'all be losing, your place in the spiritual realm, by forgetting your ancestors. And that is the biggest joke of religion, politics, social constructs, America. Losing your soul is what most black people have already done. And a lot of them are just trying to get it back. And for those of you who are your last bloodline, okay, energies that Pretty much, I don't think y'all understand how quick a lot of us have ran our course because of the sins of our fathers and our mothers. This ain't just a gender war. Okay, a lot of people got y'all focused on the gender war. Um, it takes two, and both genders are going extinct because of this lack of knowledge. Okay, like I said, it's the prince of the air that keeps trying to control other elements. Air is not stronger than the other elements. That's why I say again, it could be a clear day with no air, and the water still gonna trouble if they feel troubled. Okay, the riptide still gonna be a riptide. It don't matter what the air is doing. It don't matter what the. We have our own elements that we're tied to. So regardless of what's going on in America, you have your own struggles in Black America. America, do you not? And there's not a white person in the world who can relate, but they can always try to articulate why you're going through that because they're air. Air is always trying to explain everything else that it's not a part of. That's also why it's clear. You can't see it. But the earth doesn't need to see air, it feels it. This is why the sun, okay, has to overheat white people to a certain extent. It needs to see them, it's trying to see the air. Okay, certain air is not of the earth. Okay, this is why y'all talk about carbon dioxide and all this. Certain things are not from here. And if you guys understood this, Star Trek is more closer than you think. This is why I say if you can, go get you a telescope. Okay, a lot of y'all believe in stuff until you don't. Y'all believe in Star Wars and shit, but I need y'all to understand it's white people who actually come from different places. They don't come from here. I don't give a fuck what type of Neanderthal you say you are. You really don't come from here. This is not your roaming grounds. In fact, your roaming grounds look more like you. All the elements there match your features. Okay, and I'm going to teach you guys about more of the realm most white people come from. And they even talk about it in the Bible. Okay, this is way deeper than Esau and all the. Yeah, I'm gonna help you understand. White people know where you come from. That's why they're always talking about space. They just don't want to tell you the actual planet they're in alignment with, that a lot of them left, that a lot of them disrespected and were shunned from their own planets. This is a true thing. Okay, so this is also one reason why a lot of movies show white people depicting that they're looking for new planets. A lot of times they've already found those planets. A lot of your sellouts, especially the black people, they will never admit to you that a lot of them go to space stations and travel and do these things and go to different places. That's why they make these album covers pretending they're so out of this world. A lot of them leave this realm because you can. This is a realm that's meant to be left. You only remember that and know that, okay, when you astral project. Okay, because when you astral project for real, you're going to feel yourself and watch yourself go through the realms. And you're going to see yourself, okay, ascend or descend from earth because you can go different directions. And descending doesn't mean hell. There's different planets under the earth. I said what I said. Okay. Oh, no worries, Miss Tress. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been beautiful to have you here. I love when you tune in and you're able to join the lives. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a beautiful night's rest. Okay, I will talk to you soon. And if I don't, may you have nothing but protection, love, and abundance and peace throughout your week. Okay, take care, lovely. Okay, and yes, guys, I need y'all to understand how deep this is when it comes to understanding your spirit element. Okay, you may be land, so I tell you, you have to choose. As a woman, especially, men are different. Men always need to choose land element. Okay, being grounded as a man is only in your best interest because, like I said, if men choose water, they're going to be all over the place. Oh, you're so welcome. Have a good night, lovey. Like I said, as a man, and if you're listening and you're a black man, always choose the land element. Okay, you need to be grounded because it's a lot of troubled water you can get into. Okay, because it's a lot of wombs that you can easily get caught up in. A lot of artificial wombs are existing now too. This is why I try to teach y'all about energies. A lot of men are trying to be their women signs, not the men signs of their energy. Okay, so be careful. Okay, don't let people confuse energy. Okay, don't get so caught up in trying to learn other people's energy that you neglect yourself. Okay, because a lot of the energy you're going to need to learn about yourself, it's the ancestors that you're most attached to and aligned with that are going to have to teach you about your energy. It's almost like, okay, having um, a person in the spiritual realm. Have you guys ever seen like Dragon Ball Z and they all have mentors and Piccolo had to teach Goku and different people how to be what they are, how to harness their energy? It's the same thing except only the ancestors can teach you what's of themselves. Okay, it's not going to be other people. If anything, they will gather other people, okay, to assist you along the way if they so fit. Okay, they will string along the names of people and you would never know who they come from. I've never heard of this name. Well, I had a dream last night and, well, there was a woman who looked just like you and she gave me this and this is the name. Okay, you might call that number and it may be somebody. Oh yes, I actually was trying to get in touch with you. There was a job. Um, it's I found your application. I can't remember which website it was on, but when you get through, your ancestors be working. And sometimes when people call you for certain jobs, certain them white people don't be want to call you. I said what I said. A lot of times your ancestors be getting up in people and making shit happen for you. Y'all will never understand the spirits that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people will know where you come from because they don't conjure you. They don't dream of really employing you or giving you anything. Okay, most people when they find you, it's out of desperation and ain't nobody else who want to work, stuff like that. When your ancestors are moving for you, okay, they gonna use whoever they need to as the air element to make sure you understand they're there. You may not understand this who talking to you, but they can only talk to you on your element. Period. So sometimes, there's people like a lot of people don't understand unless they're in their element as far as when people get mad, you kind of have to meet them, okay, where they're angry, okay, and either match or surpass their anger for them to calm down or for them to realize you're crazier than them. Okay, that's what I mean when I say people can only meet you with your element. Okay, that's why a lot of people never get met. Some people's elements are so hard to reach, whether it's that troubled water in you, okay, whether it's you're so grounded, okay, you won't go into the water enough, okay, to be transparent and learn transparency. See, sometimes being too grounded, especially as a woman, okay, is why certain women start leaning towards being masculine and fighting their own femininity. And there's absolutely different levels to femininity, but it's not always stern and Hillary Clinton's fucking suits and business. That's not divinity. That's still masculinity. Okay, divinity is felt, it's not seen. And a lot of women are still trying to display this fake boss girl image with, look, I'm a boss woman. Look, I'm casually, okay, I'm professionally dressed. And that's not divinity. And that's not boss woman femininity. Okay, I said what I said. So pay attention to the way a lot of people try to lead with the image, okay, of being healed, trying to be healers. But I want you to also look at the fact of how much knowledge they can't give you in the process of doing it because there's no one aligning them with the knowledge to do it. This is why voodoo is important to me. Hoodoo is important as well. And like I said, hoodoo is for more sinister things. Okay, will you have to use both? You never know, but it's better to be familiar than to not be familiar. Okay, because you need to know when certain things are being used against you. You also need to know when you need to tap into certain things to protect yourself. Okay, because sometimes you can attach to people who the only way you can detach them is to use things against them. Okay. Yes, yes. This is why I tell people. This is why people like the Sovereign Woman stay their asses on my channel. I'm not fake boss woman, office setting, okay, fake corporate feminine. Okay, so when she come on here and all of a sudden, y'all, these lamos, okay, are trying to dress like they're in business suits when you've never seen them in, is their truck stop attire and showing pictures from they're 20 years old. And yeah, look at the picture to the left. And a lot of times this comes from them repeating my content and they can only repeat it in the image they hear me talking in. They hear me as the therapist. Okay, they don't hear me as the answer of the wisdom I have to use the air I use. So imagine trying to dress like Hillary Clinton. And like I told y'all, these are one of those fake ass chicks to where they're doing nothing much more but copying what they saw people like Princella the Queenmaker do. And as you can see, Princella the Queenmaker was very much butch, very much dude-like. But there's a lot of women who hide behind femininity right now, knowing they eat more cooter, okay, than men who get out of prison. Okay? I said what I said. Now, you're welcome to believe whatever you want, but this is why I laugh when women who drive trucks for a living all of a sudden pretend they're a therapist too, because they're always on content. No different than I made my live stream about herbal hair care. Okay, and like I said, I made my video first. She came and made a video about my whole live stream earlier, and still didn't have one single piece of advice she could give you that you couldn't get off TikTok or anywhere else. Just talking about, oh, and cancers and this and da 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 and yada yada. Just repeating everything I said in my videos, except for just giving me a shout out and saying, I was watching this live stream today where a woman was talking about this. These are the snakes and the fakes. But what I care about, okay, is because atheist or not, I don't give a fuck what you think is working on your behalf. Okay, the ancestors are always showing up and showing out for me. So all I can tell you, because I care about my karma, and you are a black woman of the black bloodline, okay, I will let ancestors handle you the same way they've been handling your same bloodline for the last 3 generations, because you are one of the last of your kind, sweetie. Okay, so you better choose wisely to your pandering. Okay, because a lot of times the route people choose, they don't understand you're choosing to extend yourself. And it has nothing to do with children. More so, you're extincting the energy you could actually evolve with. And you can't evolve when your energy's going backwards, babe. Okay? Like I say, be careful of who you listen to. Because a lot of women are going to lead you exactly into that Hillary Clinton energy. Like Mindful Moment said. Okay? And have you up out of here. To tap into stuff randomly that they think is above you, and really it's nothing more than the same whore energy. Okay, they try to shame other women about. This is why I tell y'all about narcissism, how it affects so many of us. Okay, and how you have to get out that spirit of fake competitiveness. Okay, the ancestors can't acknowledge you when you fake competing in things that you need not compete with. This is a fact. This is a fact. Okay. And my mama said, we see how Bill feels about Hillary's femininity. He stays cheating and has been for years. Yes. Okay. Most men will act like they absolutely want, okay, the sophisticated, got her own career type of woman, but they will always cheat on that woman. I don't care who it is. They will always cheat on that woman. Okay. With the women who do none of that other than try to be fake pretty. Okay. This is a fact. Okay, and it's funny because the same women who have gotten done like that are the same women who come on here and try to lead with that as soon as they get a little bit of fake validation from online. Be careful seeking fake validation and trying to practice sorcery. A lot of times your ancestors will send you things to humble you or take you from this realm. Okay, I know y'all don't believe this. People like Sade Robinson. Okay, but there's a lot of people who don't understand the power of the Prince of the Air. That's why I think it's crazy when Christians talk about the Prince of Peace, the Prince of the Air, the Prince of... Do y'all hear what y'all be saying? You're worshiping somebody who talks their lies into existence and keeps them alive through word of mouth. How is that powerful? More so than deceitful. Okay, this is why I talk about what I talk about. I understand that certain things, okay, are triggering to people who have never had to think outside of their element. But I also talk about it from a place of you need to get familiar with being uncomfortable, because a lot of times you'll never reach that higher communication or be accepted by your ancestors for communication or them to work on your behalf if you don't accept that. Okay, now I'm going to continue this, but I'm going to actually continue this in my members only, and we're going to talk about this from the element of learning how to choose your practitioner in Voodoo, who to trust, how to get started, how to start doing your daily prayers and meditations. This is not like Islam and other cultures. You give reverence, okay, in different moods and things like that. So we will talk about that, like I said, in another live stream. Thank you guys for everybody who tuned in. I will be talking to you guys a little bit later, okay? And like I said, it's still pretty early, but I may come back and talk to you guys some more tonight. Okay, it's still pretty late, but it's not that late. Okay, let me get you out of here. I don't care. But like I said, stay tuned. Okay, and we will get back into some deeper conversations. Now, this is just beginner level information. As we go, we're just going to build your knowledge, we're going to build your credibility, and so on and so forth, until some of you guys who are actually spiritually and intentionally ready are able to reach out to your ancestors and do what you need to do to make the world a safer place for you, okay, and the like-minded individuals spiritually who will be protecting you, who are still here, okay, in physical form. Okay, sometimes you need your ancestors to work on your behalf so that your spiritual tribe can find you. If not, you're never going to find them. Okay, period. That is why you've been split up and stuff the way you have, but it's okay. Stay tuned, join the conversation. Okay, but all of you guys who have been listening, okay, tomorrow, tomorrow, on our beautiful rested Sunday, I'm going to get you guys started in how to pray, okay? And when I say how to pray, this is going to be how to pray personally, okay, through your personal elements, okay, through your own ancestry line, okay, through your own, okay, empowerment and trauma bonding, things that you need to heal. These are not going to be things I can personally pick for you. This is why I say this is the difference between sorcery and forced religion. I'm not here to conform you. You have to heal the things that only you can be honest about. And you don't ever have to tell me. This is between you, yourself, and your ancestry bloodline. Okay? Figure it out. And I wish you guys the best. Thank you guys, everyone who tuned in. You're more than welcome to join the conversation. My members only if you're interested in deeper content. You're also, if you're interested, okay, in the herbal remedies that I talked about in my videos earlier, from growing your hair to your butt, okay, you're more than welcome to check out my website, touchofjoy.store, which is in my bio, okay. Your first order on my website, you will get 10% off, okay, your entire purchase. Please do go take advantage of that. And I may even throw in some store credit. You just never know, okay? But go check that out if you're interested in natural remedies, okay, as well as licensed therapy from a licensed therapist, which would be me, okay? Now, that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. My next live stream, I will be deep diving, okay, into how to actually start preparing, how to pray, how to meditate properly, okay, if you are wanting to go on the deeper level of self-understanding, awareness. Now, next week, I'm going to be doing a week-long fast. If you're wanting to join me, please do start hydrating today, right now, okay, and throughout the rest of tomorrow. Bless you. Okay, what do I mean? Get you a big thing of alkaline water. When I say a big thing, I mean a huge thing, like this huge, okay? Huge. Okay, like I said, it's dark, y'all. That's really why I got the lights on. I'm chilling, okay? But yes, get you a huge thing of water, maybe a whole liter, something like that, almost 2 liters. Okay, try to drink one today if you can. Drink one tomorrow. But if you're gonna fast with me, please do not fast unless you are hydrated first. Okay, also please make sure if you're gonna fast with me for a week, this upcoming week, please do make sure you are not eating too much sodium this weekend. Okay, maybe eat you some baked chicken, green beans, eat something healthier, okay, so that you can be prepared to purge. Some of y'all purges may get ugly. Okay, you are going to be running to the toilet. Okay, understand you're releasing, you're getting things out of your body that don't need to be there, and this is going to be a time period where you're going to want to actually worry about, okay, meditating, aligning, reaching out to your ancestors. This is the perfect time to do it when you are fasted. This is the only time to do it. Okay, there's nothing in the way. So that being said, you guys tune in. We'll dive deeper into that. Thank you guys who tune in, especially my regulars, my members only, Miss Tress. Thank you so much, Mindful Moments. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you guys have a lovely night. Now, I may come back a little bit later. Y'all know me, okay? Depends on how well I'm rested, and I'm pretty rested, okay? So I may come back in a little bit and talk to you guys in a few hours. And like I said, it's okay if you don't catch the live. Come back and check it out later. But we're going to put you and the information that you need to be in so that you can keep growing and processing everything that's about to happen. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible for you guys who are wanting to spiritually prepare as quick and soon as possible. But I'm also going to make sure I do it thoroughly so that I don't miss any steps, any things that's important. And I also don't want to misguide you in any way and leave any small steps. Small steps in voodoo and spirituality, even hoodoo, can cause big mistakes. And we ain't going for none of that. We need everything to be perfect and in order right now. Okay, so we gonna get it there. So thank y'all again for tuning in. Thank you all of y'all who hit that like button. Have a wonderful night. Those of you who are about to rest, rest well, meditate, go to sleep in good energy. And when I say good energy, just forget about the weight of the world that people keep putting on your shoulders and think about all of the involvement you're about to do on behalf of your ancestors and always could have done. Okay? Trust the process and not the people. I'll talk to y'all later. Toodles.